The story begins with Kai and his teammates fighting the Demon Lord. While he is busy daydreaming about his side chick Colette, his team member asks Kai to stop the Demon Lord's movements, and he ends up using a power called the Bloody Bind, which results in a ton of hands appearing out of a magical circle. Those hands, all at the same time, lunge towards the Demon Lord and manage to restrict his movements. Following that, he asks his teammate named Ares to finish the Demon Lord, but Ares smirks in a rather questionable way and dashes forward with his sword pointing towards Kai and ends up stabbing him in the heart. However, he not only stabbed Kai but also the Demon Lord in the process, making Kai realize what a snake he truly is. After eliminating the Demon Lord, Ares begins laughing, shouting about him being the true hero. When Kai tries to question the reason behind his betrayal, Ares, being the strongest mage class, said that he was tired of having a dweeb-looking older brother. Before Kai can confront his little brother Ares, another one of their teammates named Joan intervenes, saying that someone who uses the evil dark magic like Kai can't be the companion of Ares. Kai replies that he has always helped them even if he uses black magic, which results in the barbaric girl Ursa cracking up. She lets him know that a weakling like him was never helpful in the slightest. As Kai is about to kick the bucket, he remembers the time when they were 15 years old and everyone received a special ability called class from God. Sadly, he received the Black Mage class, which was hated due to it being closer to demons, as well as being the weakest among all dark attributes. Back in the present, Ursa steps on Kai's face, telling him to die already or her share might be reduced if he stays alive. Ares then grabs his sword and lets Kai know that he will be stealing his side chick after his demise. While he screams in pain due to Ares grabbing the sword, Kai remembers his engagement being broken off due to his class. But they couldn't do anything, and Colette ended up taking off her bracelet and handing it over to Kai. With tears in her eyes, she said goodbye, along with asking him to take care of the bracelet. Ares then tells Kai that it was his father that told him to eliminate her. Apparently, their father was the strongest knight in the kingdom and head of the Austin family. He told Kai that they didn't need a filthy black mage in their house, but gave him a chance to return if he partakes in the Demon Lord's subjugation, along with allowing him to marry Colette. Meanwhile, Colette was confined in a room to develop a barrier to protect the city. Kai tries his best to restore his father's trust and get Colette back, which resulted in his case level reaching level 999 in power. Ares further laughs and makes fun of Kai, while Kai regrets his life choices. Ares then takes out his sword to stab Kai once again, while Kai thinks that he should have taken Colette and run away. Soon after, he wakes up in his room, covered with sweat, and instantly gets up in fear. He then notices Colette by his side, and he asks the reason he is soaked in sweat. Kai then notices that he has no wounds and his lovely soon-to-be waifu wishes him a good morning. However, Kai is still confused as Colette is supposed to be in her 20s, but she looks pretty young to him. She then wonders if he is still half asleep as today is their precious day. Kai apologizes, saying that he must be half asleep, notices his own face in the mirror, and realizes that all of his wrinkles are gone as well. Colette tells him to wake up as today is their class revelation ceremony, which brings all those bad memories back to Kai's mind. He then asks Colette the year, and if he is a black mage yet, unknowingly getting a bit too close to her. Colette pushes him back in embarrassment, letting him know that she can smell his bad breath. Kai instantly apologizes and figures that it's not a dream and he really traveled back in time. Just then, he notices his palm and gets shocked after seeing that he already has the class mark. Colette also notices it and gets surprised, wondering why he already has a class. Kai can't figure out why he has the mark before the class revelation ceremony happens. He then gets an idea and opens his status window, only to notice that he is already level 999 like his previous life. Additionally, he has another title named Entering the Second Time, which makes him even more confused than he already is. Seeing the worried look on his face, Colette asks Kai if he's okay, and simultaneously, her bracelet falls onto the ground. She instantly picks it up and seems relieved as Colette thought she had lost it. This reminds Kai of her, giving him the bracelet in his previous life, making him realize that she must have filled it with her saintly powers. Kai then began laughing like a freak, making her worried and hugging Colette, saying that it was her who did this. At this point, Kai knows that he can change the future as he already has the knowledge of his previous life. However, Colette seems pretty confused, still wondering if he is a black mage. He then tells her that he will never let her go, which makes Colette flustered and question what the f is he even yapping about. Kai apologizes for suddenly hugging her, and Colette mentions that she didn't hate it, but was surprised as it was so sudden. Following that, he begins getting worried of people finding out about his class and wanting to break the engagement, but Colette reassures him, letting him know that Kai is still him even after the Black Mage class. This reminds Kai that Colette was the only one who didn't change after finding out about him being a Black Mage and decides to tell her his secret. He eventually lets her know that he returned from 5 years in the future and is currently a level 999 Black Mage. This statement comes as a shock to Colette, and Kai decides to show her the evidence. He starts off by using his powers and saying some incantation which causes a demon to suddenly appear in the room. He informs Colette that he's summoned it from hell, and that level 999 mages can make contracts with such demons. Noticing that he can still summon demons makes him relieved that he can still use all the skills he learned in his previous life. That demon then kneels in front of Kai, scaring the living shit out of Colette as he asks Kai to give him his orders. Kai then looks back at Colette and apologizes for scaring her, asking if this is enough proof for her. Colette agrees, saying that she never doubted him in the first place, as he wouldn't lie like that. Furthermore, she finds it pretty amazing as even 10 holy knights can't defeat a demon of the scale he summoned. But it's now time to get to the main point, and Kai asks Colette to listen to him really carefully. He reveals that she will receive the Saint class, while Ares will be given the Brave class. But just when he is about to tell her more about Ares, he opens the door, asking Kai if he called him. Both of them are shocked to see the sudden appearance of Ares, and he walks inside the room. Luckily, the demon returns before Ares sees it, and he begins mocking Kai for talking about people behind their backs. Colette tells Ares that Kai wasn't talking behind his back, but he walks towards her, offering Colette to let him pop her cherry instead of his normie brother. However, Kai pushes him aside and tells Ares to leave, but Ares takes out his knife, asking what he will do if he doesn't. This results in Kai getting ready for a fight as well and preparing his magic circle along with his powers. Just when the two of them are about to engage in a fight, the butler of their family appears, telling Ares that his father is calling for him. This breaks the tension between them as Ares decides to leave, and Kai tells Colette that they should get out as well. Ares watches the two of them leave, and noticing them being all lovey-dovey pisses Ares off even more. Outside, the two of them are roaming around the city when someone calls his name, surprising Kai as he is not used to being treated kindly. It turns out to be a store owner who thanked Kai for helping him out the other day. Colette mentions how he is adored by everyone, not knowing the things he went through. Eventually, they both arrive at a park, and Kai suggests continuing their conversation. He informs her that Ares getting the Brave class will be a great mistake, as because of him, the demon lord Griselda will be born, and in just 3 days, the Holy Kingdom will perish. Colette gets shocked hearing all of this, and Kai further says that almost half of the people will lose their lives, and to protect the Holy City, a barrier will be created. Additionally, he will be exiled from his family, and that is how they will get separated. Colette tells Kai that she doesn't want to lose him, and wants to be with him. This makes Kai ask Colette to come with him so they can stay together. Colette thinks of this as a proposal and gives Kai a hug, wanting to be together forever. Kai realizes how stupid he was in his first life, as he should have done this from the start. With that being said, Kai asks Colette to hide in the Lacus village, and when she asks if he isn't coming with her, Kai replies that he will stop Ares and prevent the birth of the demon lord. Luckily, Colette understands his decision and begins walking away, telling him that she will be waiting for him. Kai also promises to sort everything out and return to her as soon as possible. Currently, he plans to rescue Griselda from Ares and build a friendly relationship with the demons. The demons' cooperation will be important to counter the future coming pursuers. Kai learned about this during the fight with the demon lord, when the demon lord confronted Ares for being Sasha's enemy. With that being said, Kai begins using his powers, ready to rebel against his fate. Elsewhere, Ares walks towards the basement, asking Griselda if she has changed her mind yet, who is chained up and in a really bad condition, and what he wants from her if for Griselda to eliminate Kai. But Griselda refuses to obey orders from a filthy person like Ares, which results in him whipping her. Griselda lets him know that if it weren't for the magic containment handcuffs, she would have turned him into minced meat. However, Ares lets her know that she can't do anything, considering her being his slave. He once again tells her to go and eliminate Kai, as the Brave class will probably be given to someone like Kai, which is something he doesn't want. Apparently, he wishes to have the Brave class and be the only one who claps a baddie like Colette. Brave class is a light attribute chosen as the strongest class by God. Additionally, breaking into people's homes and even doing property damage are brave privileges and are legally allowed. This is because no one other than a brave class can defeat the Demon Lord. Furthermore, Ares plans to have his own harem filled with hotties older than him. If it weren't for Kai, Ares will surely receive the brave class, which is why he wants Griselda to eliminate him at once. But she mocks him for wanting the brave class only so he can clap some baddies. This statement makes Ares furious, and he repeatedly beats Griselda. But she remains persistent in not following his orders, being a proud vampire. Eventually, he stops and calls Griselda useless trash he spent his money on, followed by him taking out his sword to end her life. He raises his sword to cut Griselda in half, and she closes her eyes when unexpectedly, Sasha speaks up, begging Ares to stop. Griselda tells Sasha to be quiet as she just regained consciousness, but she refuses to do so even if it is her master's orders. She offers to go and eliminate Kai in Griselda's place, asking Ares to let Griselda go, but he kicks her face, asking if a low-ranked demon like her can eliminate a precious child of Austin family. Using his sword, he then slashes her body, making Sasha scream in pain while Griselda curses at Ares for hurting her maid. Ares notices Griselda's anger and questions if a maid like Sasha is important to Griselda. He further mentions that demons like her are always trying to act like humans, and how his father used to do things like this a lot as well. He then brings his sword way too close to her neck, scaring Griselda to death as she eventually accepts Ares' offers. But this doesn't satisfy him, and he wants to humiliate her even more. Griselda hesitates to grovel in front of a lowly being like him, and he asks if she wants her previous maid to die. Just when he raises his sword, Griselda agrees to say whatever he wishes, but Sasha tells Griselda not to do it and to stop worrying about her. However, Griselda argues that she still needs Sasha and begins saying those words, but Sasha interrupts, asking Griselda not to give up on her pride. Noticing how both the demons are ignoring his pesky existence, he decides to end their lives once and for all. But just when he is about to eliminate them, the door of their prison cell breaks, and Ares is shocked to see Kai being the one responsible for it. Both Griselda and Sasha are surprised to see a man with such overwhelming powers enter their cell. Kai then yells at Ares to stop, and without giving him the chance to react to any of this, Kai lunges at him and forms a magic circle right in front of his hand, punches Ares right in the face, sending him flying and crashing into the nearby wall. The impact is enough to knock the poor guy out, leaving both Griselda and Sasha surprised. Kai then walks toward the girls and is relieved that he made it on time. Seeing how Kai sent Ares to Wonderland with a single punch, Griselda asks who Kai is, and Kai, figuring out that the girl is Griselda, wonders if it is okay for a little girl like her to become the Demon Lord. The thought of her becoming the Demon Lord further confuses Griselda, and Kai then notices the other girl and realizes that she must be Sasha. Griselda questions how he knows their names, and before telling her anything, Kai prioritizes using what's called healing magic to heal Sasha's injuries. The sensation of being enveloped by black magic turns Sasha on, and comes as a shock to Griselda, as all her injuries are healed at once. Kai then decides to heal Griselda as well, and notices how Griselda is just a poor girl made into a slave, and not the Demon Lord he fought in his first life. With that being said, he heals all of Griselda's wounds as well, and then uses an ability named Bind Break to shatter the handcuffs restricting their movements and use of magic. Griselda is flabbergasted as it not only healed her wounds but also took care of the slave magic that she was under in an instant. Both girls then hug each other in happiness, talking about how they are still alive and free. Kai is glad to see them happy, and Sasha mentions that she thought they were done for after their territory was stolen by Sasha. Hearing Urza's name, Kai questions if she's talking about a red-haired girl, and when Griselda asks Kai if he knows her, Kai agrees. This makes both of them worry of Kai, thinking that he might be Urza's comrade. However, Kai instantly refuses, saying that Urza is a money-obsessed lunatic, and it makes him throw up even thinking about being her comrade. Following that, Kai introduces him to the girls, and they realize that he is Ares' brother. But they also question why a brave candidate is helping demons, and in reply, he asks them to cooperate with him. He elaborates that he doesn't have a place in human society, and shows them the mark on his hand. The girl instantly figures out that he is a black mage, but finds it pretty weird at the same time, as using 2 high-level spells is not a level one can reach at such a young age. Even though Sasha is still a bit suspicious of Kai, Griselda decides to trust Kai as he saved their lives. Sasha then reveals to Kai that his little brother wanted to eliminate him, which comes as a shock to him as he realizes that Ares wanted to get rid of him all this time. Griselda then proudly reveals that she refused to follow any of Ares' orders and says that if Kai hadn't come, she would have lost an important friend. Kai figures that Griselda fell into despair due to the demise of Sasha in his previous life, and it was all because of Ares. This makes him even more furious, and Kai decides to end Ares' life once for all he did to him in the past. But just then, he remembers their time with Colette and knows for sure that she will be hurt if Ares dies. In the end, he decides to think of another way and hits his own forehead while reciting some incantations that causes a demon gecko to appear. It enters Ares' mouth, shocking the girls who soon figure out that it's a curse. When Griselda asks Kai about the kind of curse it is, he replies that it will make living hell for Ares. That curse begins to spread soon after, and Griselda finds it pretty remarkable. Sasha mentions that there aren't even demons who have mastered this much dark magic, but before Kai can reply, he notices their clothes and those jugs staring at him makes Kai flustered, and he suggests fixing their clothes. The girls also get embarrassed after looking at their clothes while Kai uses his dark magic to create a portal and puts his hand inside to find something to wear. Eventually, he ends up finding some clothes and takes the two of them back to his room, where Sasha asks the cultured fellow to go to the next room. While they change, Kai thinks about it almost being the time of revelation and how the real issue is the sacred sword. Just then, Griselda enters the room and shows off her new-made costume to him, commenting that it's her first time wearing something like this. Kai compliments her and mentions how good she looks, making her as red as a tomato. While she thanks Kai for the compliment, Sasha can't believe he is making Griselda wear maid clothes. He then interrupts their chit-chat as he needs to explain everything to them. With that being said, he takes the girls to the living room and informs them about his time-traveling journey along with how he was eliminated. He says that this is his reason for not putting his trust in people. Sasha understands that he can use such high-level magic because he came from the future and mentions that Griselda becoming the Demon Lord is highly reliable information. Griselda also says that Kai would have come up with a better lie if he was trying to deceive them. She then asks about his plans moving forward, and Kai reveals that he is going to destroy Urza. This shocks Griselda, and she questions if he really means it, as Urza has been turning demons into slaves and stealing their resources. Kai promises to get it all back, and when Griselda questions if he can save her people, he agrees. This results in Griselda tearing up, saying that with this, she can finally face her late father. However, Kia further mentions that in exchange for that, he wants Griselda to let him and Colette live with them, who is her fiancé. Griselda figures that he is engaged and mentions that it will be no problem for her to make it happen. Kai further informs them that Colette is going to receive a saint class, and Griselda mentions that the whole kingdom will send men after Kai if he takes her away. But Kai tells her to leave it to him, and before he can finish his sentence, their house begins to shake violently, and without wasting any time, Kai takes both of them outside while the house starts to break apart. After they are safe and sound, Kai takes a look back at the house and sees it enveloped in flames. He then asks the two of them to stay behind him as they watch Ares walking out of the flames, laughing like an absolute madman. Kai summons his demon sword named Tilfing, which results in the ground breaking and scaring the newbie hero. That sword then appears in Kai's hands, and he remembers that this is the sword Demon Lord Griselda used in his previous life. Apparently, this demon sword has the ability to increase the wielder's powers in accordance with their dark magic, which makes it a perfect weapon for a level 999 black mage. Ares can't believe seeing such a wicked-looking sword in his brother's hands and begins laughing at Kai, mentioning how he looks displeased. Following that, Ares notices the mark on Kai's hand and instantly recognizes it as the mark of a black mage. This boosts his ego as he begins mocking Kai for getting such a shit class while he receives Brave. Kai notices that Ares' wounds are already healed due to the Brave class, while Kai continues being the annoying pest he always has been. Griselda also can't believe that trash like Ares got the Brave class, and Ares mentions how he will be returning the favor to Kai for beating him up. With that being said, he summons the sacred sword Durindal, and lets them know that this sword is proof that he's the one righteous. Both the goth girls are also shocked seeing the aura that single sword has, while Kai remembers that this is the same sword that Ares used to eliminate him. Ares keeps on yapping and Kai interrupts, confronting him for pointing his sword at his brother. Ares replies and tells Kai to see the difference between them, letting him know that nobody can beat the overpowered magic of a sacred sword. Furthermore, he tells Kai to repent for defying the justice of the brave, and Kai advises him to stop blabbering, challenging Ares to come at him. Hearing these words from a black mage pisses Ares off, and Kai fuels the fire by doing the "bring it on" gesture. He further says if he loses against a black mage, Ares won't be able to show himself outside. At this point, Ares' patience runs out and he dashes towards Kai, but Kai easily manages to dodge his attacks. During this fight, he thinks about how the sword skills are wasted on a pathetic being like Ares. Eventually, Ares gets tired of swinging his sword around like a complete idiot and mocks Kai for running back and forth. While Kai knows that Ares might be brave, but it is still a level 1. Just as Ares swings his sword again, Kai gets a notification of unlocking a hidden class named Dark Star. The system elaborates that it's only given to those who master the Black Mage, and allows one to learn all kinds of dark attribute skills. Furthermore, they can earn evil points by doing evil deeds that can be used to get new skills. Just then, the system grants him 1,000 evil points for doing an evil deed. The evil deed turns out to be Kai, helping the demons and fighting Brave. It then shows all the available skills to buy, and noticing the skill named Summon Demon Sword, Kai ends up buying it. In the meantime, Ares keeps on attacking Kai, but is yet to land a strike, and Kai taunts him for being slower than an old couple walking in a hallway. Afterward, the sword Kai summoned begins absorbing his magic and finds it pretty annoying. At the same time, Griselda is surprised to see the sword, as it is her father's demon sword. Before Ares can even fully comprehend this fact, Kai uses his sword to attack Ares, but it goes right above his head, cutting the houses behind him in half. This is enough for Ares to shit his pants, while Kai mentions that he still doesn't know how to restrain himself. Ares begins screaming in terror, wondering if this is the true power of the demon sword. But Kai replies that it's converting his magic into destructive power. Hearing this makes Ares crack up, and he remembers that the sacred sword is light, while the demon sword is dark. When light attributes go against the dark, the power of the sacred sword doubles. Ares then decides to show Kai the true power of the sacred sword and begins to power up. Kai tells Ares to come at him, and without wasting any time, Ares screams and attacks Kai with a skill named Final Strike. This attack makes its way towards Kai, and Griselda mentions that even Kai won't be able to survive getting hit by such an attack. Eventually, the attack comes way too close to Kai and ultimately ends up in an explosion. When the dust clears, Kai can't be seen anywhere, making both Sasha and Griselda think of the worst. Ares begins laughing hysterically, mentioning how it didn't even leave behind his ass. He further says that money, status, and honor, all of this will be his now, along with Colette as well. Griselda falls on the ground due to utter shock, and Ares comments on how she should have run away when she had the chance. Sasha protects Griselda just as Ares is about to attack them, when suddenly Kai appears behind Ares, questioning if he thought he won. Ares steps back in fear, while Kai thinks about the sacred sword temporarily losing its powers after using the final strike. He has witnessed this weakness of the sacred sword several times in his previous life. With that being said, he uses this opportunity and strikes the sacred sword while its powers are disabled. His attack results in the sacred sword cracking and eventually breaking apart, shocking the arrogant lad who can't believe what just happened. The recoil from the sacred sword makes Ares fly into the air and land on his butt cheeks. Kai mentions that he can only use the demon sword for 15 minutes due to the magic it consumes, and figures that he would have been beaten in an instant if he was a level 1 as well. Following that, Kai receives 3,000 more evil points for defeating Brave, while both Griselda and Sasha are relieved that he managed to defeat Ares. Soon after, Kai notices that Ares is still breathing, and Griselda figures that he won't wake up anytime soon. Just then, she notices the curse moving from his forehead towards his mark, and Kai informs her that it turns Ares' light mark to dark mark when he tries to harm others. Eventually, the curse ends up turning his brave mark to something else, and Kai mentions how Ares will be known as a brave imposter, which is his revenge against Ares and his father. Furthermore, he doesn't need to do anything else, as sacred sword destruction is the same as eliminating brave Ares. Suddenly, Griselda begins calling Kai's name with respect and mentions that he not only destroyed the sacred sword but also defeated Ares. This is enough of a reason for her to believe that he is the new demon lord. Elsewhere, Colette wonders what Kai might be doing, and the demon reassures her that he is avoiding the birth of the demon lord. Colette then mentions that she is pretty surprised to see him become this tiny, and the demon informs her that he uses this form to hide from the world, but is still powerful enough to protect her. He then notices the knights from the holy city arriving and tells Colette to hide as they must be looking for her, while all Colette can do is hide and hope for Kay to return fast. Elsewhere, Griselda keeps on calling Kai the new demon lord, and when Kai tries to argue, she mentions that only a demon lord can summon the demon sword, which is undeniable proof. Sasha agrees, saying that the feats he accomplished are impossible for someone other than the demon lord. Kai realizes that this is a big problem as they think of him as the new demon lord, but figures that accepting the title might be convenient for him. Eventually, he ends up accepting it, and Griselda lets him know that he needs to sign a demon subordination contract. Turns out he doesn't know what it means, and Griselda reveals that those who sign the contract are given classes by the demon lord and are greatly strengthened. In exchange, they swear absolute loyalty to the demon lord. This makes Kite open his status window to take a look at that skill and eventually finds it, realizing that he met the requirements for it in the previous battle. He then wonders if this skill is the reason the demon army's leaders are so strong, and notices the condition that says that death will come to those who seek to rebel against their lord. Kai finds this condition quite absurd, but Griselda isn't bothered by it, and says that Kai seems to be a pretty nice girl, so there is no need for her to doubt. With that being said, he asks if the two of them are ready, and Griselda replies that it is what she wants. To start things off, Kai decides to give Sasha the title of Demon General Class, which comes as a shock to her, and Griselda compliments Sasha, saying that such a title is perfect for someone as loyal as her. Kai then asks if she is content with this title, and she replies, asking him to bestow her the title, promising to give her absolute loyalty to him. Following that, he makes Sasha the Demon Lord General, which results in an overwhelming amount of energy flowing in her body. Afterward, Griselda requests Kai to give her the 4 Heavenly Kings class and swear her loyalty as well. Kai is confident that Griselda is someone powerful enough to become the Demon Lord on her own, and can't believe that he's making a contract with the former Demon Lord. Eventually, he bestows her the title of 4 Heavenly Kings, causing an absurd amount of energy to rise up in the sky. Both Kai and Sasha are surprised to see this new form of Griselda, and after forming the contract, she jumps with happiness after becoming a part of Kai's army, while Kai is still surprised after seeing what he just saw. Sasha congratulates Griselda and hopes that she can become somewhat useful as well. The two of them then hug each other, planning on building a new demon world with Kai. Meanwhile, Kai is happy regarding the fact that fate is changing when suddenly he notices a bunch of soldiers appearing along with his old man. His father questions Kai why Ares is on the floor and why he is standing beside those demons. However, Kai decides to remain silent and lets Griselda know that the man in front of them is the Holy Knights Commander Geese, also known as his father. The soldiers notice that Ares is still breathing, and Geese asks Kai why he didn't show up at the revelation ceremony. Kai ends up revealing that he is a black mage, which comes as a shock to his father, who mentions how Kai was supposed to be brave. Kai further mentions that he will be working hard to be the Demon Lord from now on, and Geese, noticing the mark on his hand, realizes that Kai really is a black mage. This makes him furious at Kai for joking about being a Demon Lord, and mentions that he lost justice and the pride of the Austin family. However, Kai has seen his father's justice from his childhood, which included torture, threats, hiding the Demon Lord, and even ordering his own child to be expelled and eliminated. Kai then tells if what he preaches is justice, then he is okay being evil. Geese mentions that Kai has been corrupted by that dirty class, and Kai lets him know that he and the Austin family are pretty much useless now. Following that, he uses another skill that causes the houses around them to burn. The knights inform Geese that fire is rising from the mansion's surroundings, and the stable seems to have been burned down as well. He then confronts Kai for doing such a thing, and Kai informs Griselda that he prepared the fire to be flashy so there won't be any casualties. Now that he has done another bad deed, the system awards him 500 more evil points, and Kai realizes that the system is pretty compatible with his revenge plan. Geese asks Kai how he could do such a thing, and Kai replies that the Austin family must perish and that this is his justice. Eventually, Geese orders his knights to eliminate Kai as he's not his child anymore. But just when the knights are about to stab Kai, he uses his powers to eliminate most of them. This allows Geese to run towards him and try to attack, saying that the knights were just pawns from the start. However, Kai already knows this and takes out his demon sword to block his father's attack. Geese, Knowing what that sword is, curses Kai, but at the same time, gets repelled backward by Kai and takes this chance to sever one of Geese's arms. Geese begins to scream like a crybaby and mentions that Kai has abandoned his humanity. Nonetheless, he still remains confident and tries healing his injuries, only to soon realize that his arm is not recovering. Kai reveals that it's a magic skill that prevents any form of recovery, something only level 850 black mages can learn. He further tells Geese that he stopped the bleeding as one last filial piety, and Geese questions how Kai is this strong when he just received the class. Kai replies that his so-called justice has no longer any power, and that he eliminated his own son after all. Geese can't understand what this means, and the system grants Kai 500 more evil points as a reward. Geese, not deciding to give up, realize that it must be Ares who is the brave. He is confident that he must have the brave title, as the prophecy of Saint Johann is absolute. Kai decides to stay silent, and Geese orders his men to use recovery magic on Ares so they can take the black mage down. However, the soldier shockingly points at Ares' hand, and when Geese takes a closer look, he can't comprehend that his other son is also a black mage. However, only Kai knows that Johann's prophecy is correct, and Ares indeed is the brave class, but because of the curse, the brave class is camouflaged by the black mage class. He then remembers everything Johann did to him in his previous life, and decides to get rid of him as soon as possible. Now that the geezer has lost all hope, Kai questions if Ares is going to be expelled as well, mentioning how the family is done for. Geese begins screaming, wondering what happened to Austin's family glory. He then tells his soldiers not to heal Ares, and leave that dirty being be. Meanwhile, Kai figures that Ares will lose his position as an aristocrat, and lets Geese know that he will be taking his leave. As a desperate attempt, Geese questions if Kai is really going to take the demon's side, and Kai agrees, knowing that Colette is the only human he can trust. Following that, he looks at the two demons and knows for sure that they both demons have a bigger heart than the people he knows and are too bright for someone like him who suffered through the ugliness of humans. While he exits the city, the knight guarding the door inquires about what's happening inside, and Kai asks him to tell Geese not to follow him, as he will eliminate all pursuers. With that being said, he uses his dark magic to teleport, surprising the knight as all three of them just disappeared. After teleporting far away from the town, Griselda compliments Kai for not showing any mercy towards his father and wonders if they will now be going to her territory. Kai agrees and says that he must go to Lacus village to pick up his waifu before that. Just then, he gets an idea to train the two of them, making Griselda wonder if she can still get even stronger. Kai then lends both of them a level 10 dark attribute enhancer that causes heat to flow inside of them, turning the young maidens on. Apparently, this skill allows him to lend skills to his subordinates, and seeing their conditions forces Kai to apologize, but the girls thank him instead for such a pleasurable experience. After that, they all decide to take a break, and Kai looks at the bracelet that Colette gave him. Even though the bracelet is broken, he can still feel the strong magic inside and decides to use his skill named Item Appraisal to check its value. After appraising it, Kai finds out that it has the powers to control time and figures that it was due to Colette powers that he was given a second chance. With this bracelet, he knows that the two of them can be happy together. However, he wonders if Colette is actually the Saintess of Time and has a hidden class just like him. Griselda asks Kai if something is wrong, and he dismisses her, suggesting they move forward. Elsewhere, Johann's lackey brings some information to him, and he smirks, knowing that he found the Saintess of Time. Do you think Johann will prove to be a tough opponent? Comment Mage below if you'd like a part 2 of this series. As usual, thank you for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next one.